Hey everyone, Bradley tuning in. There is a massive trend going on right now and no one's talking about it, and I wanted to bring it to light in this video. If you guys are getting value out of them, please like, please share these videos. The more engagements we get, the better. It really helps to push them. If you're following us on YouTube, please subscribe to our page. Anyone following us live on Facebook, 12 Wednesday every week, please like our GTA real estate page, and you can catch us here every week. So I'm having a little drink here. This is actually coffee. I'm not lying, this is actually coffee. Because we're having a celebration. This week has been very busy all weekend. We've been running around. Sandra's been very helpful. We've had, actually yesterday we had 2 deals that went through, but it's been so hot. Over 30 consistently, the hottest day of the year, or hottest week of the year. And but today is my 3-year anniversary. That's right. So celebrating drinking coffee out of a red cup, but gonna have a very great surprise for her tonight. Really excited. One of the best days of the year. My advice, fellas, make sure you marry your best friend. It makes it that much easier. So let's dive right into it, guys. I want to start you off with some stats before I get into this trend that I've really noticed and kind of been pondering over the week before I shared it with you. I wanted to really make sure it kind of fits. Does it line up? Because to me, now that I've kind of understood it, it makes perfect sense, but I wanted to share that with you. But let me give you some stats. I was looking on Toronto Real Estate Board's figures, and they report actually all the way back from 1996. You can pull data quite easily. And they actually, for all housing types across the greater Toronto area, it averaged in 1996, homes were about $200,000 for all types. And that same comparison today would lead us to $730,000. So clearly there's become an affordability challenge, and a lot of people are talking about this. Everyone's talking about how much harder it is for millennials to get into the market. And that's a big part of this video, but that's not exactly what I was looking at. And to take it a little step further here, they've actually were saying that, according to HSBC did a survey, they were saying that 37% of recent purchases by millennials actually borrowed money from parents or loved ones in order to finance the home, which actually I would have thought that number was higher based on what I've seen, but it just goes to show there's a lot of assistance needed in order to get into the market. And so we'll take those numbers, but let me give you the trend that kind of takes that millennial discussion about how, oh, poor young kids aren't able to get in the market, it's so difficult. It's my generation. I think the sympathy needs to end, and I'm going to explain to you why I think all of that changed when the tax came in. Let's first start off by talking about what happened before this tax was implemented earlier this year. So if we just look overall, baby boomers were pretty comfortable, right? They were just sitting on these homes they could sell, but they didn't have to. It was totally up to them. But then we have these Generation X's, which are the parents of the millennials. They run from 65 to 79, anyone born in that time frame. Before this all happened, before the tax was implemented, a lot of them wanted to move up. They had a lot of kids that were trying to go from their home, and they wanted to upsize. They were kind of in that timeline of their life, but there was really nothing available because these baby boomers were holding the real estate, and a lot of people weren't selling, and the market was doing well. All the while, of course, we've got these millennials crying because they can't get into the market, which was true. It was very unaffordable. Many people decided to rent, which is nothing wrong with that, until they can get their foot in the door. And it was kind of a woe is me scenario. Everyone was crying over the situation. But I am going to make the suggestion, and this is the trend that I think has happened since then, since the last 6 months, that has really changed the cards. First off, baby boomers today, yes, they're still, of course, they have flexibility. In fact, I would argue baby boomers have won in every aspect of the real estate market over the last 50 years. They really have, in every way, kind of capitalized on it. Affordability today, even though interest rates is low, is way harder for young people. And so this has been this story that's been pushed for all of these millennials over the last 4 or 5 years, is get into condos. Get something more affordable. There's nothing wrong with that. That lifestyle is just different. It's just how it is now. And this is a story that we've been sold for the last few years that nobody wanted to buy into until now. And this is now what's going on. And now we're starting to see a split in the market. We're starting to see 2 totally different markets. We're seeing that condo downtown Toronto that are up 20% year over year, but then we're seeing these suburbs that are sitting vacant or not able to, you can't push that inventory at all. And here's why I think that is. I think in some ways baby boomers are starting to move, but at the same time now these Generation Xers, our parents, are they want to sell, and they're actually finding stuff they can move into, so they're able to upsize. So there's stuff out there. But the problem is now millennials are no longer interested in that low-rise inventory. So my argument, and what I'm seeing as the trend that I really think we should be discussing, is there's been a change in psychology for the millennial, where now for the first time inventory has opened up in these low-rise segments, in the suburbs, let's say. But at the same time, because of the way that we've been selling it the last few years, you've got millennials really only interested in that lifestyle of a condo. Nothing wrong with having no vehicle, nothing wrong with living in 700 square feet and raising my small family, being close to everything, close to work, and being able to walk everywhere. And now, for the first time, they're okay with that, and they're able to overcome that affordability. My argument, I would say, actually the real victims of the scenario is Generation X. They've really been caught in between this baby boomer and now unable to move their housing to our generation. Of course, there's still an affordability issue, but I would argue in many ways millennials is really what's changed the whole market, has been those peak millennials. In fact, if you look, there was a number that was released. They said that 17% will be the growth of peak millennials by 2021 since 2016. Now that makes up those between the ages of 25 and 30. It will be higher than it was even when the baby boomers existed, this age group. So there's this huge incoming demand from these peak millennials, and they're really calling the shots on what they want, and what they want has changed, which has left our market looking two different ways. First off, you've got these high rises, 20% up year over year, the more affordable segment that's right downtown Toronto, but then you've got these suburbs, these low-rise homes, detached towns and semis that are really just flatlining, just kind of waiting for someone to be ready to come back into that market. And I think we did it to ourselves. I think we are the ones that changed the psychology, but in many ways, certainly the millennials have called the shots and will continue to call the shots in the next few years. I'd love to hear your feedback. What are your thoughts on this trend? Do you think that millennials will continue to change it in that way? Maybe you disagree with me. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and where you think things are going to continue to go. We'll leave it there. We'll pick up next week, dive deeper into different tips and tricks that happen in the real estate world. Take care, guys, and keep it real.